So, Mitch, we hear every single year that, oh, you know what, this could be the greatest rookie class since 2003. And might I remind you all, it's blasphemy because 2003 rookie class, you had LeBron James, Darko Milicic, obviously that didn't work out. Then you had Carmelo Anthony, you had Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. Like that
Mm.
rookie class was so stacked. And I mean, you have so many future Hall of Famers in there that I think we can just pump the brakes when people say this is one of the most stacked rookie classes. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of great rookie classes, particularly 2008. However, let's take it down and let's look over some of the rookies that we're most excited to talk about and to see play this season. And I'm going to start it right off, and I'm going to go with Obi Toppin. So Obi Toppin, Mitch, I've been telling you about this man for a few years. He's a big man who got drafted to the New York Knicks, and for that reason and many more reasons, I believe the New York Knicks are such a big market, and it doesn't really matter that they're struggling right now. They're still playing in New York. So there's a lot of eyeballs on them and a lot of super fans such as Spike Lee and others. Obi Toppin, I mean, he was literally the player of the year in the NCAA. And he led the Dayton Flyers to a phenomenal run where I am so disappointed that he didn't have a chance to play for that national championship because, he was, for a lack of better terms, putting the team on his back. And it's been a while since I've seen a big man who can shoot the three ball like he can. And he reminds me of a healthy Greg Oden and a healthy Andre Drummond. This is a guy who I think is going to put up, I don't want to say he's going to come out right off the bat putting up 15 rebounds a game, but he's certainly got the potential. And I think personally he's got the potential to put up around 16, 17, 18 points per game, which for a rookie right off the bat, this guy is going to be a double double machine. Obi Toppin, he's phenomenal, and something that you always talk about as well is genetics. And we look at the Holiday family with Drew and the others. You got a ton of them. You look at the Greek freaks and the Antetokounmpo fans, and there's three of them in the NBA. The Ball family, obviously still some big question marks there, and of
Well,
course Obi Toppin's brother is also playing in the NCAA right now for Rhode Island. So, genetics wise, I'm just so excited to watch Obi Toppin. I am shocked that he fell that late into the draft, and I think a lot of teams are going to pay for that mistake.
well, yeah. Also, look at Griffey. Him and his dad, I believe they hit a home run in the same game. Could
Same,
have been the
yeah,
same
same
inning. Who
game.
knows? And then there's also, yeah, there's tons of players like that, right? But yeah, Obi Toppin looks pretty good. I saw some of the videos I'd mentioned to you too. I'm like, kind of reminds me of a Greg Oden, kind of similar type of physique, but maybe this guy's a little bit smoother too. Hopefully, it's all about staying healthy too, right?
For sure.
If Michael Jordan would have had terrible injuries, it would have been very difficult to do what he did. So many
Yeah.
injuries. Injuries suck. Like, think about the Golden State Warriors. Who's coming back this year, right? You're talking
Man,
about
that's
two of the
exactly it.
best, top 10 players, at least in the last 5 years, right?
Yeah.
You got the shooter and Curry, and you also have, Durant that can do it all. Especially, he can do it all. That guy's a freak.
Yeah, and not to mention like the fact that they were literally what was it like the second worst team last year. Now they also picked up one of the better big men in the draft in James Wiseman. So there's yet another rookie that a lot of people are obviously going to be hoping to pull in products such as NBA Hoops, Select, Prism, whatever it might be, Optic. It really doesn't matter. But a guy like James Wiseman, I think, for me personally, I think he's going to be great in the NBA. But in terms of putting money into a big man on a run and gun team, if you look at what the Warriors do when they're best, that's a team that likes to move the ball up and down the court very, very quickly. So the centers don't quite get into the action, so to speak. But I mean, they might be playing different basketball. Not too long ago, Klay Thompson, one of the Splash brothers, was injured. So
Mm.
we'll see what happens there with James Wiseman. But for me, I would tend to shy away from investing in his card once it comes out.
Well, the big one we got to talk about, rookies coming up, LaMelo Ball. And
Mm.
unlike Lonzo Ball, this guy actually has some potential. He's got an
Yeah.
opportunity to do something. You know, LeVar Ball predicted it right. I hate to say it, but he was on point. You know,
Yeah.
he's told everybody. You know, LaMelo Ball's my favorite, and there's a whole sense of belief. There's a lot that goes into that. It's not just that these guys are talented or skilled. They have a belief in them, and when somebody believes in you to that level, it makes a big impact in your life. And the fact that like Luka Doncic and other players that we're starting to see playing overseas, getting professional experience, you know, not just playing against high schoolers. Like it's cool to watch LeBron in high school, but to see him do what he did in high school in the NBA sometimes,
Yeah.
that's a different level. You know, Zion's not going to do what he did in high school to LeBron. We've already seen it. It doesn't happen. Although he did rip the ball from Giannis's hand, pretty cool. You know, as they're both growing, I really think LaMelo Ball has a big opportunity to shock the world if he can keep it together. He's got the swag. He's got the pace to him. He seems to be doing pretty good in the interviews. He seems to just giving, you know, kind of, simple answers. It's pretty interesting.
His interview skills definitely have to improve. He seems like an NBA 2K my character or whatever that's called. It's so cookie cutter. I mean, they're asking him a question on how excited are you to be in the league, and it's just real excited. Like
But he's doing it on
I'm
purpose.
looking for more.
I
from
think
him.
he's.
I'm
yeah.
sure he is.
I think he's. It's more like he is a man with the chessboard, and he's making slight, and he's moving the pawn on somebody playing checkers. He's definitely
Right.
got the one up. He's first overall pick, potential
He was
pick
third.
potential.
Right.
You're right. First overall pick potential. I thought it was going to happen, but yeah, LaMelo Ball. He's got some swag, and I really think. And I'm actually I hate to say this, but I'm somewhat happy because we're going to get to see Lonzo's little brother make him look like an amateur. And that makes me happy. I'm not a big Lonzo fan. If they could switch Lonzo for LaMelo on, New Orleans, I'd be much happier.
See, I think probably the biggest takeaway there is being the youngest of the three Ball brothers, and obviously LeVar Ball has had this vision in his mind. So basically, since he came out of the womb, he's been starting to dribble. He's been starting to work and craft his shot, which, mind you, I think he has probably the best shot of the three brothers. In his height, I mean, he's grown so much.
He's
but more
tall, too.
importantly,
Yeah.
the fact that his brother's now been in the league for 2-3 years has allowed him to also participate in these backroom gyms where he's literally also playing with guys such as Brandon Ingram, who he's played with. So it's just really crazy. Like, his father and just the family name has presented him with so many opportunities to play with other pros, whether it be in the NBA, Lonzo's teammates, or even overseas. And like you mentioned it, dude, there's a lot of overseas players who, we're starting to see that. That's professional basketball. Sure, it's not the NBA. Sure, it's not college, but one could even argue that might be the better route. It's kind of like hockey. For all our Canadian listeners, a lot more people are trying to now go the university route rather than OHL or rather than QMJHL. There's obviously different routes to go, and I'm starting to think that we're going to see more people take the overseas route and play professional.
Well, you really hit it. You hit the nail on the head right there. There's so many different examples of things being the status quo that weren't the best option. For example, Steve Jobs, he talked about this, and I know it's a tech type of analogy, but he talked about it. He's like, why is it that we do products this way? Well, sir, it has to happen this way. He would always mention that you should think differently. That's what they're doing. That's what we're seeing. Look at the internet. Oh, education won't go online. All we do is produce videos online, and it's decentralized. Everything is changing. Sports are changing, and the way people are learning and adapting are changing. And if not, they're going to get better. I mean, we're in modern times. The fact that LaMelo Ball's been playing overseas, and the videos that we've watched together and the ones that I have seen, he's got some swag potential.
Oh, for
His
sure.
vision is impressive. He's got some of the best vision I've seen. He kind of reminds me of AI a little bit. He really does. Just a little bit. And I'm not going to say he's AI, whatever, but he's got a bit of that swag. He's got a lot of confidence in his vision is there. I like that. And the way he'll pull up and take a crazy shot,
From
he's
half
got a bit of
court.
Trey in there. I really believe LaMelo Ball will do good. Do you want to make a prediction? Should we make a bold prediction?
We won't make a bold prediction. We'll make a ball prediction.
Oh, Ball? Okay. Oh yeah. I think LaMelo's son is going to like make the NBA. LaMelo Ball will have some games where he gets 40 points.
For sure. Yep.
I
No,
really
I agree.
and that's a big statement. Other than that, I'm going to be honest, I don't know as much about him. I haven't had the opportunity to see too much. But I think LaMelo is going to have big games. He will have a couple high scoring games. 40,
Yeah.
40, maybe 50 this year, and that's crazy.
I don't necessarily think I'd go as high as 50, but I would argue that he's going to have minimum two 40-point games. Now, does that mean I think he's going to average 30 points a game? No. Do I think he's going to average 25? No. I think I see him more around 18 points per game, which again, for a rookie point guard or shooting guard, wherever they end up sticking him, I think he's going to do extremely well out in Charlotte. And again, he's under Michael Jordan's, that's his tutelage that he's going to get, and I'm sure he's going to pick up a thing or two from the great one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If I put LaMelo Ball at about 18 points per game, maybe even lower, 16 to 18, if he starts smoking cigars in the locker room, he'll be getting 22 to 23 points per game. And if Zion smoked cigars, he'd be 32 points per game. That's his fault.
Moving on here, there's just a few more rookies that I do want to touch base on. Halliburton. So Tyrese Halliburton ended up going to Sacramento, and this was a guy that when the NBA draft was happening, I was kind of texting you and I was saying, Mitch, if he goes to the Pelicans, you would buy a Williams jersey and I would buy a Halliburton jersey because I believe in Halliburton so much. A stat that many people don't know is he's actually the percentage-wise one of the greatest NCAA shooters from three-point of all time. And I get it. He's got a wonky Sean Marion-looking three-point shot, but the reality is it works for him. And I don't mind that whatsoever. I think this is one of the pound-for-pound best finishers in this NCAA class. And I am telling you, man, I think I am shocked he fell out of top 10. I really am. I think Sacramento got an absolute stud, and I think he and De'Aaron Fox are going to – I think they're going to make a playoff push. I really do.
Yeah, you were talking about him, and he almost went to the Pelicans, which would have been pretty interesting. Who do you think out of the entire draft class, who is going to shock the world, as I say?
Shock the world. Obviously, if Ball does it, like those top guys, I don't necessarily are going to do it. I think, in terms of shocking the world, drafted pretty late, but who I think is going to have a really good career, is Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony is a shooting guard who got drafted by the Orlando Magic, who played for UNC. I watched this kid play before the injuries, before the shutdown of the season, and Cole Anthony was just, how do I put it? He did a lot of unthinkable things. Just the way that he created plays off his own dribble, the way that his vision, right? I mean, we talked about vision with Ball, and I would argue that obviously Ball still got the better vision, but Cole Anthony was able to see the floor very well, change speeds, change directions, things like that. I think he's in a really good position right now with Orlando. I think he's going to be the starter right out of the gate, especially with them getting rid of DJ Augustine. So Cole Anthony, I think in terms of shocking the world, and when I'm saying shocking the world, again, if Halliburton does it, if Ball does it, if Anthony Edwards does it, if Wiseman, well, those are guys who were drafted early on. But if you want a late, first round, late bloomer who's capable of shocking the world, I think it's going to be Cole Anthony.